my 3 steps, creating that connection with them, getting curious about, what the real cause is, and then helping the kids create clarity in their own selves and giving them that power back instead of, being reliant on, somebody else telling me what to do, or medication or something like that.
Welcome back to the Power and Purpose podcast. Thank you so much for joining me here. I'm your host, Vanessa Soul. And thank you for everyone who's been tuning in to the podcast lately. I've been getting so many good uh, notes and messages and feedback, and people loved some of the 1 year anniversary content. So thank you so much, you guys. And today's conversation, I'm super excited with our conversation with Kendall. Kendall, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Vanessa.
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait for this conversation to unfold because you have so much deep wisdom. And first, I just want to tell people why I'm excited about this conversation with Kendall. Many people may not know, but I come from a background of educators. My mom's a preschool teacher, my dad's a college professor, my grandmother, she was a college professor, and my grandfather, he was a school principal. So my family is really knee deep into education. And I thought I was going to go that route. When I started studying politics and policy, I thought, well, let me work in policy and politics to go change the educational system. That I was experimenting with that route at one point. And then I guess one day I woke up and changed everything, right? But that's why I've been excited about this conversation. I'm so honored to deeply know Kendall. She's been a client of mine for some years and she is on a mission. So, Kendall, first I want to ask you my signature question. Who are you or who are you not?
So I would say who I am is I am a mother, teacher, lover, and friend because I don't know, I've just since I was a child, I've always been drawn to teaching, right? And being an educator, working with children, really working with children. Um, be my role as a mother is something that's really important to me. And in this whole like kind of journey that I've been on and self-discovery movement is like just connecting with my kids and even the way that I connect with my friends and everything like that. Who I'm not, I'd say, is that I'm not a judger. I've been told a lot of things. I've experienced a lot of things, and look, I, 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 I don't judge people. I don't feel that that's my place to say, if it doesn't make sense to me, I will question it. But I'm not gonna put shame on anyone for anything.
Right, right. I love that you mentioned that. And I ask people this question all the time, right? And there's no right or wrong answer, you guys. It's like whatever is current for you. But I love that you're really highlighting this because judgment and shame are a lot of emotions that are passed around in our society, whether it's unintentionally, inadvertently, unconsciously. I mean, and consciously. Like some people feel like that's the way, right? Some people feel like that will change things. Now, does it really? That's debatable. But I love that because like that's your boundary, and that's how you'll relate to your friends and family. It's like you'll be there, but you're not the type of person that's willing to participate in those energies. And in my eyes, they're low frequency energies that don't facilitate transformation most of the time. So
I agree.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, so beautiful. So, Kendall, what is your background? You are a phenomenal mother and teacher and educator. What is your background and what really inspired you to start working with kids?
So my background is as a teacher. I've been teaching upper elementary for almost 10 years. I'm in year 9. Um, I am a mother of 2 boys. I have a 13 and a 10-year-old. Um, as far as my educational background, I have the bachelor's and then also a master's in curriculum instruction and I'm currently studying behavior analysis because uh, my I've always known that I always knew I wanted to be a teacher growing up, and our generation of people, the parents have the biggest influence. And with my parents were in my ear about teachers don't make enough money and blah 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 blah. So I was kind of pushed away from that in my own personal journey, but did come back to teaching just because I've always felt a real connection with kids and just being silly and like lighthearted. Um, even now, I feel that I sometimes get along more with the kids than the adults because the adults are always, very serious. But as my time in with my time in the classroom, I've it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Because of the way that the systems are set up. It's a business, right? So what drives businesses? It's mostly money, and it's not set up for the children. It doesn't, it's not in the best interest for the kids. And it's something that I've been struggling with because I grew up wanting to be a teacher, having my stuffed animals in a row and having my little sister, be a student. That's one of the things now in the classroom I'm cognizant of, being grateful of when I'm taking attendance or I'm schooling a child, sit down and stop talking. I dreamed of these days when I was younger, I manifested this reality that I have now. But what I see, where I could be more of a benefit for the collective, for everyone, is focusing on helping the kids realize and get in tune with their emotions, and then again how they communicate with others, because even as adults, we might say things in a way that somebody else takes the wrong way, and now we're fighting or we don't talk to each other for years, just because I thought you meant this but you meant that. So I've been doing this in my classroom already and with my clients that I've worked with, right? Bringing their awareness to their emotions, asking, self-awareness, reflecting, why am I behaving this way? What the perception too about what's happening around you, and then slowing down and being more aware of how the things come out of your mouth, the tone, the words that are used, the energy that you give off of it, all of that. And this, the inspiration and the way that I've kind of discovered this has all just, I'd say it's haphazardly, it just, kind of, but it's a part of my journey. And looking back now, I can see how everything that I've gone through has been little stepping stones, little breadcrumbs to get to this point.
Yeah,
Um,
I have something amazing that is unfolding for the whole month of December in preparation for 2025. And that is my brand new container, Astro Aligned Business Bootcamp. It's a business boot camp with one-on-one support, community support, and a full online self-paced course, all bundled together in one monthly membership. Again, I am launching this for the first time ever in December 2024. In preparation, it's going to be happening all year long for 2025. And you can join now. You can get early bird pricing, and you can lock in early bird pricing for your first 3 months of membership. Super, super exciting. Now, here's what it is. It will help you revolutionize your business with high-level astrology and human design strategies. Yes, operating your business in accordance to what is going to work best for your energy, your energetic blueprint. We can get instructions, specific instructions on your highest probabilities for your business. So if you are really ready to rebrand your business, re-strategize, set a strong foundation going forward, or maybe you are just starting out your business, this will be absolutely necessary and helpful, and it will help you accelerate with ease and grace. Check out the link again for the month of December. You get the early bird pricing of $318 a month, and you lock it in. You lock it in for the first 3 months. I'm super excited. You'll get one-on-one strategy calls, and there's a group container, a group call every month alongside the online course material. I'll see you in the Astro Aligned Bootcamp.
Hmm.
I love that. I love that. And as a mother, it's like you have two boys. And so you're living this. You're not just doing it as expertise or as work, whether when you're working with your clients in your private business or when you're working as a teacher, right? When you come home, you still have two boys. And so tell us a little bit about um yeah, just your work with your own kids and how you've helped them along the way.
Sure, I would love to. So my both of my boys, um, one thing I've recognized is that their personalities, and with all children, they reflect their caregivers, because that's what they see, monkey do type of thing. Um, so I've noticed that my youngest son has a personality more similar to mine, and my older son has a personality similar to mine. My younger son has a similarity more like closer to the father. And so dealing with those, I've had to have a big learning curve because we dealt with some things in our personal lives. My kids suffered through some emotional and physical abuse, right? And so um, during developmental times where they're, the brain's growing and learning at a very rapid space and or a pace, and the things that were being learned and picked up were not the healthiest, right? Or to the most kindest, I'll just say, right? Um, so I've had to guide my children in unlearning certain behaviors and then relearning, right? And um, all about holding space and just teaching these other ways of communicating, bringing awareness also how what you're saying affects me and how it, makes other people feel, and the environment around you. Yeah, it's been quite an ordeal, especially the past year, but
Mhm.
been showing a lot of progress, at home. So I'm very grateful for that.
Beautiful. And I would like to know, like, what is it really like to have a child that is emotionally or mentally struggling? I don't know because I don't have any kids. But what is that experience like?
It's very unsettling. I don't know. I didn't know what to expect, and then sometimes just letting them have their way and, just the power. Okay, okay. I was listening to a podcast that you had shared, Vanessa, about Robert Greene and the power struggles, right? So that's what I had to kind of work through, and that's kind of what I want to help families, or I help families work through, is kind of like that power struggle, but the perception from like getting the kids to see that there isn't really a power struggle, and accepting authority and things like that of because we want to keep you safe, or we need you to not hurt other people, so we need to not jump up and down or scream, or when you're banging on the desk, it affects other people's sensory, you know, systems. So we can't act that way, you know, type of thing. But it's a learning process, and I'm still experiencing it and going through it. So
Yeah, yeah. And I know that, yeah, everything is an ongoing process. It's very
mhm.
rare in life where we actually arrive, right? Where we
Right, you're
feel like
right.
things are done. Yeah. So I love that. Again, you engage with this on the most three potent aspects as a parent, single parent at that, very powerful, successful single parent, and as a teacher, and then in your successful business, helping children and helping them with self awareness and emotional regulation. And it's so powerful. Beautiful. So, what is your process for really helping kids expand their self awareness and to help them with emotional regulation?
Well, Vanessa, I have a three-step process, which consists of connection, curiosity, and clarity. So, in the first step, connection, I take time to really get to know the child, learn about things that they're interested in and things that get them excited. And step two is curiosity. I use curiosity to discover what the root cause could be. What is the root cause of the child's anger? What is the behavior stemming from? Is it something that they're dealing with at school? Is it something that they are feeling irritated and agitated about at home, but they're not able to, communicate that, or they're not even aware that it's
Mm.
triggering them. Um, and then I become curious about the possibilities. What are different ways that I can help the child channel that energy?
Hey, Super Soul, have you ever thought about how expansive your life purpose actually is? Have you ever just thought about it? Well, here's the thing. Most people just think of their life purpose as being one thing, and that's never really the case. Or most people just think of it as like this vague, mysterious, general idea, or just like one word, right? And that's a great start, but there's so much more in store for you to really master the details of your life purpose. And when we have a framework and when we have the answers and almost like this instruction manual that comes from your astrology and your human design charts, we get concrete ideas and concepts that you can execute with strategy, confidence, and clarity. So, check out my Purpose Report program. It is a one-on-one container, and also starting in 2025, it will be one-on-one support plus group support. Now, this is different from the Astro Align Business Bootcamp. You don't need to have a business to join the Purpose Report program. This is really about your life purpose. And so I encourage you to check out the link, take the quiz on the website, see where you're at, and just start taking those first small baby steps towards, again, not just discovering your life purpose. This is not just about discovering your life purpose. I really don't like that term because it doesn't really give us anything. What does that mean? Discover our life purpose. We need to master the details. The diamond is in the details. The rewards are in the details. The momentum is in the details. The success is in the details. So, go to the link for the Purpose Report program, check it out, take the quiz. There's a soul purpose alignment quiz. That is step one. Take the soul purpose alignment quiz, and that will lead you to the next steps. But just take that one small baby step, and I will see you on the other side. Have a fantastic day. Back to the show.
I help teach them? What can I teach them to do to get them back in control of themselves, right? And then step three is clarity, where I help the child become clear on their patterns and what things happen inside their body and how they feel when their emotions start getting irritated or getting elevated, right? And what they can do to bring themselves down before they get to that point where they're throwing a tantrum and kicking and screaming, or throwing things, and where, so that they don't hurt other people or themselves, right? So that's
Mm.
my three steps: creating that connection with them, getting curious about what the real cause is, and then helping the kids create clarity in their own selves and giving them that power back, instead of being reliant on somebody else telling me what to do, or medication or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That part. Ooh, that's a tangent. I might go down there. I might not because that's a
Yeah.
tangent. But first of all, Kendall, this is brilliant. Okay. It might seem basic, but as you were just talking, I was thinking like when you said connection, I thought about my own experience when I got put in anger management at 12 years old. I could not connect. And honestly, I probably didn't want to. I didn't want to connect to my therapist. And so what did I do? I lied. I lied so bad that she was actually worried about some of the lies that I was saying. And she told my dad, but she thought they were true, by the way. But anyway, so it's like we couldn't go anywhere, right? Because we did not have that connection. So that is so
Mm,
powerful that as an educator, as a mother, you prioritize just first connecting with the child, making sure they feel safe and secure to even start the process with you. And then the second one was curiosity. Was that correct?
yes. Uh-huh.
Curiosity, as a human design coach and astrology expert, purpose expert, healer, all the titles that I have, I found out that curiosity is so important because it's the opposite of doubt.
Mm,
Sometimes people can start to doubt a child's or anyone's capabilities. But instead, if we turn that energy into curiosity and we say, okay, let me get curious about where the disconnect is, like you said. Oh, I think you called it root cause. You said, let me get curious about the root cause. And then let me also get curious about the possibility so that you're still believing in the child. You're still giving them a chance and you're pulling together options for them to actually shift and change. So I love that. And then your third step was clarity. Is that correct?
correct. Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. I love the clarity piece. Clarity is like my this year that's been my theme and funny enough, I like my whole goal in helping people with their purpose and like all the stuff that I do is like we need clarity. That's another opposite energy of doubt actually. And so I love the clarity that you provide your kid clients with and it gives them that self-awareness because when they're self-aware, they feel more empowered or they could ask for what they need they can, like I do so much child work for myself and also my clients that are adults, right? So we're looking back on our childhood in our sessions typically. But one of the things that comes up is like we didn't we didn't have someone to ask us like, hey, you're sad. Is there anything that you need right now? Some of us didn't have that, right? And when we go back and
Mm-hmm.
we inner child work, we're like, I just needed someone to ask me if I was okay
Mm-hmm.
or I just needed someone to help me get clear on what I needed or what I was experiencing. And so those are really three big, amazing steps. I love that as part of your process.
Thank you so much. And I agree so much with what you say. The most simple thing is just asking why are you feeling that way? Or, how can I support you? Something else that you said too that I'm really passionate about is that I find a lot of adults don't respect what children have to say. They don't really take the time to listen to the things. They just kind of like brush it off, or at least I did in the past, But in developing this process, I've really honed in on that, and that's really what makes the big difference. The child goes from a state of where they're not able to express themselves, they're throwing tantrums and outbursts, and maybe becoming physically violent, injuring themselves or others, to a place where they are able to articulate what it is that they're feeling and what they're needing in that moment. They're able to self reflect when they do go, because nobody's perfect. And we all tend to, have our moments, but self-reflecting and then developing a plan of what can be done differently. When I notice, okay, I'm feeling this way again, and I remember what happened last time, what can I do differently this time to maybe have a better outcome?
Beautiful, beautiful. And
Mhm.
what's the transformation that you've seen in some of your current clients?
So one of my clients that has experienced, he was having problems with bullying at school and had low confidence, self-confidence. But in the time that we were working together, the issues at school had stopped. And his relationships with his peers and things were getting better, and even his siblings. So I feel that him being, growing in his own self-confidence improved his relationships in his close circle.
Wow.
So, mhm.
And that's a huge difference. He was experiencing bullying, and then through the self-awareness and the emotional regulation, that bullying didn't happen anymore. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. Yeah, it stopped.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. And my next question for you, Kendall, is how is your work different from the work that a child psychologist or therapist might offer?
So, as you mentioned earlier with your story about your anger management sessions, right? What I do differently, the way that I connect with the children is very different. Um, it's I don't know. I feel kids are very spiritual and they can sniff out anything if you're insincere or your motives are not for them. I feel that the kids that are drawn to me, that come to me, are they can feel my intention and that I want to help them. It's a different type of connection. It's hard to explain, but it can be felt for sure. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And I like that you bring in the spirituality component. And I know that some of your clients, you don't go down the spiritual path. You literally just stick with the emotional regulation and the self-awareness. And then I know just through our time knowing each other that with some clients, kid clients, you do actually take them down the path of learning about spirituality and their energy and their auras and their chakras. And that's something that's not taught in school if they're in a public
Mhm.
school, or even a religious school, so to speak. And then that's probably not offered in traditional therapy sessions.
Yes. With the work that I've done with my children, both of my children have spiritual gifts. And so I've kind of been through the emotional regulation and um, I've helped them kind of develop and grow those as well as I'm working on mine as well, so we work through that together. But yes, get tapping into past experiences and the energy work and things like that. That is also something else that I offer that is very different. And yes, not for every client, but the ones that are open to it for sure. It's very powerful.
Hmm. I can imagine. I can imagine. Because I'm kind of thinking like just like, root chakra challenges or blocks, as a intuitive healer myself, as adults, many of us when we're experiencing challenges in our lives as adults, when we're, not feeling confident in our careers, or I've even seen people jump around from career to career to career because it's like they just can't get stable somewhere. So all human beings have a root chakra, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. But I can imagine that, as you empower children, your kid clients to understand the chakra system earlier on, they're that much more self-empowered. And
Mhm.
is that was that kind of like your thought process to introduce them to that earlier on?
Yes, my whole vision, what I see is just a future where everybody is, in tune with that. I feel that if the children are taught these skills from a young age, that the the way that life will be completely different. You want to talk about heaven on earth. That's what I see. You know, that's what I see.
I have
And
chills.
that's my drive and my motivation is we start with the children. Yeah. And even too, I've had visions of, you know, you when we're working with our own inner children, it's the same thing, you know, because we have to kind of reparent ourselves, which is what I did first, and then I'm able to now do it for the kids. But you know, that's yeah, that's my whole that's my motivation, what I'm working towards.
I love that. Yeah, talk about heaven on earth. Like I think most of the people who tune into my podcast, we want some kind of impact in the world. We want things to change. Um and we want things to evolve. Even if they feel like they're working and they're okay. There's still always more experiences to be had and yeah, a world where children are more empowered early on when they are really guided with self-awareness and like you said earlier in this conversation, you know, just by you helping them understand when they're about to get angry or when they're about to when they're having those thoughts of harming themselves, because I think adults and children alike, our self-awareness can we could black out for a moment. And
Hmm.
I was joking around with you earlier, and I said, Kendall, when I was 13, this is around the anger management situation when we were offline talking. I said, I didn't know I was angry until I had already set someone's car on fire. Like, you know,
Hmm.
like I blacked out a little. I mean, not really, but kind of like emotionally self-aware. So it's just like, yeah, a world where there's so many educators and mothers like yourself who are doing this work for kids and helping them really that whole full mind, body, soul connection bring whether
Hmm.
it's bringing in the spirituality or not, it's just self-awareness is going to be so powerful. And yeah, I could see that. I was getting chills while you were talking a moment ago because I could see that literally changing the world. Like there being
Hmm.
less drama, less trauma in our world, in the human experience, in the human condition, just from us really nurturing and nourishing our kids differently.
Yeah, and I feel that that's there's a lot of combative energy towards that because of like social media and like news and the video games and things like that. But a lot of adults were unaware of it, kind of just because I'm here and I need to do this and just leave me alone, right? But that's when I saw the most transformation in my own boys is when I started really paying attention, you know. And sometimes it's hard for parents to do that, to be able to do that. So, um, you know,
Yeah.
when they need help, then that's the help that I provide.
That's so beautiful. And that brings me to my next question. For any parents that are listening right now, what are some tools or suggestions that you have if their child is experiencing either some behavior challenges or emotional overwhelm, or maybe even have just trouble operating in school, anything like that? Do you have any, like maybe two or three top tools or suggestions?
Work for my son is once he starts getting elevated, I've taught him to um, I speak to him in a calm way. Then I've taught him to help him bring him into the present moment so he engages the five senses. So I had to constantly repeat to him what the five senses are. So to help him not be able to think in the moment when he's angry, right? So we repeat the five senses. And so in that moment when you're feeling angry, what do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What can you taste? And what do you feel? And then bringing that to awareness that helps them slow down and then hopefully be able to get to a point where they realize, oh, he just took my pen, but I have another pen over here. I don't need to go and kick and scream or try to grab that out of his hand. I can just go get another one. Um, that's so engaging the five senses in that moment and just pausing. That's something that's worked for my son. Hmm.
Mm, that's a powerful tip for parents because we might, yeah, if I was with my little nieces and cousins and things, my mind just doesn't go there, but now it will because
Hmm.
bringing it back to those five senses can really bring in that awareness. That's amazing.
Hmm.
And any other tools or suggestions for parents?
Start listening to kids, asking them, what it is that they're feeling. One thing that I've started doing, because when I'm in the classroom, I have 24 kids in my class, right? And they all always want to, I have to tell you something. I have to tell you something, right? So they tell me this random story. Some of them are quite traumatic. So for example, they were driving and they saw somebody, they were fighting in the street, right? So then I asked them how that makes them feel. So when kids come to you and they're telling you a story or something, maybe just put, instead of saying, "Oh, okay, cool," maybe ask them, "How did that make you feel?" And have them kind of go through that process and but really listen to them, right? Like stop what you're doing and give them that time and that space because that will help them also with their own thought process and looking at what it is that they can control and what it is that they can't really.
Ah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that. Amazing. And so, how do people connect with you? How can they learn more about what you offer?
Instagram, it's Kendall's dot care for kids. Vanessa, I have a freebie, a calming kit that has some breathing exercises that's been helpful for my clients, my students, and my kids.
Amazing. That's so brilliant, Kendall. A calming kit. I feel like every parent probably needs that. So amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here on the Power and Purpose podcast. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, please download the episode, share it with some friends and family, get in touch with Kendall, follow her Instagram page, and leave us a review if you feel inspired. Thanks, everyone. Namaste. Hey, Tribe, thank you so much for tuning in to today's podcast. I can't wait to share next week's podcast episode with you. Now, to stay up to date, go to the link for the Power and Podcast website. Sign up for the newsletter so you can actually get on our newsletter and you'll get monthly emails about our podcast episodes ahead of time. So you'll get to see which episodes are planned out for the whole entire month. So that way you know when to tune in. So check out the Power and Podcast website. You could sign up for the newsletter to sign up for those updates, or maybe you just go to the website and check out all the episodes that are highlighted there. Thanks again. Have an amazing, inspiring day.